Welcome, everyone, to beautiful Southern California. We're on the campus of UCLA, home of the Bruins, here in Westwood, alongside Sunset Boulevard. And time for championship tennis here at the Farmers Classic, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Today, singles championship match between Sam Querrey, the number 2 seeded American. He's gunning for his 3rd title here in LA, taking on the qualifier from Lithuania, Ričardas Berankis. I'm Leif Shiras alongside Ashley Fisher. So an exciting week of tennis, and it's coming to a conclusion today. Querrey making a very solid and convincing run through to this championship match, as has Berankis, Ashley, who came through the qualies and has not lost a set in the main draw.
Yeah, and that's important. Anybody that has won as many matches as Berankis has this week is dangerous, just by virtue of having that much confidence. He's going to have to play the match of his life to upset Sam Querrey, who's very comfortable here. He's a 2-time champion. He loves Southern Cal, and he's playing well, Leaf. He's been ranked in the top 20, looking to recapture that ranking. Yeah,
Querrey, 6 feet 6 inches tall. He brings a big serve, a big forehand to every tennis court he walks on. And on this particular court here at the Strauss Stadium at UCLA, it's fast and it seems to fit his game perfectly. You can see temperatures, well, it's warm, pretty comfortable. It should be a nice day for the guys. I don't think they will struggle with the heat today.
No, it's beautiful, but it is an adjustment for Querrey. He's been playing all his matches at night. A few guys in this event have commented about that, how difficult the playing conditions are. So it'll be interesting just to see how Sam Querrey handles out in the early going here.
Yeah, Sam Querrey, as we said, looking for his 3rd title, had a win here over Andy Murray in one of his championship matches. So that's an impressive feat in itself, taking out the number 4 player in the world. And here is Sam Querrey and Ričardas Berankis. So time now to look at the Emirates Airline U.S. Open Series Bonus Challenge standings. Remember, there's plenty on the line for these players this summer over the course of the Open season. A potential $1 million bonus. Andy Roddick at the top of the list by virtue of him winning in Atlanta. You can see Berankis in the championship match at least here, guaranteed 45. Gilles Muller, he was a finalist in Atlanta, so Michael Russell in the 5th has been consistently doing well, a couple of quarterfinals. So it's an interesting time of the calendar, and Ash, there's so much to play for these guys at the very top of this challenge standing.
Yeah, this is an exciting time of the year. They love playing these events, and to throw a nice little bonus in there, well, that only makes it even more sweeter.
So Ričardas Berankis, 22 years of age, we mentioned, out of Vilnius, the capital city of Lithuania. And I have to harken back to perhaps Vytis Gerulaitis was the most famous Lithuanian player that I can think of before Berankis making this kind of impression. But you can see how well he's played here, and he actually made an inroad in Atlanta as well. So he likes this surface. I think he likes these warm conditions. He trains in Florida. So it's come together for this young man at the right time.
Yeah, look, he's a guy that's going to do well. He'll be inside the top 100, inside the top 50 very quickly if he can stay healthy. He's done well at every level. Juniors, he's young. He's had some injuries. That's why he's ranked where he is. He won't be there for very long.
Yeah, his road through has been convincing, hasn't it? Bjorn Pau, the German. Igor Andreev, who is a very tough man to take out. Very strong player. And then the Frenchman, Nicolas Mahut. That was fairly comfortable. Did not lose his serve and broke the Frenchman one time in each set. And then it was the Australian, Marinko Matosevic, in the semifinals. And it seems like he's been getting better, more and more comfortable, more and more confident.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, that's exactly the right word, confidence. He's just crushing the ball. He's 5'8", but he does not play that size.
Sam Querrey is 24 years of age, and he's been saddled with injuries like Berankis was. Last year, Sam missed some time away, but he's back, playing healthy, playing confidently. And if there's a better place than Los Angeles for this man who, locally from this area originally, and again, the surface, the conditions, he's got the support of his family here. He just seems so comfortable. He did play well in the Queen's Club, but leading up to him, and got to the semifinals there. So again, Querrey's also been building confidence at a good time for him.
Yeah, that's right. He had a good Wimbledon also. Beat Milos Raonic, lost a tough 5-setter to Marin Cilic. But he's very comfortable. He's got the Sam Samurai in the crowd. They'll be cheering him on.
And look at the tournament history. 14 wins, just 2 losses. Bob Kramer, the tournament director, said to us that he hadn't lost here since 2007. Of course, this time last year he didn't play because of a right elbow problem. And in 2008, I should say, he was at the Olympics. So here's his road through. Again, very comfortable. The match against Melis, the Belgian player, had to retire because of knee problems. But it looks like Melis will be a part of the doubles final. He seems it's day-to-day with Melis. And then the semifinal win for Querrey over the American Rajiv Ram, who made he's a very traditional sort of player, a little more serve and volley, conventional play, but it was a good semifinal match.
Yeah, it was. Sam played well. It's a different matchup today. Ram comes at you with a lot of serve volleying, a lot of forehands. Berankis more of a traditional baseliner, but he's not a guy that is afraid to just go with the 1-2 punch. He's got a lot of firepower, Berankis. He's going to serve big. He does not play the way he represents, at least with his size. He crushes the ball. A lot of racket head acceleration off both sides.
Yeah, actually, we were walking in and we saw him practicing before this final, and he had his shirt off, and it was a little surprising how big and strong this guy is. I mean, he is built. Very strong player. I think we're going to see today he's giving up about, Berankis is 5'9", Querrey's 6'6", so big height difference, and there's also a big edge in experience you have to give to Querrey, who's playing in his 12th final. Berankis, this would be just his first. So these guys will take their last few practice swings. We're going to take a short break also. We're getting ready for the championship match here at UCLA, the Farmers Classic. It's going to be decided coming up. Querrey and Berankis. Welcome back, everyone, to the Farmers Classic here at the LA Tennis Center at UCLA. And here's Sam Querrey, who is going to serve first today. The title on the line. First time meeting between these two. As Berankis, no qualifier, has won this title in the open era. The kind of position that Querrey, if he can earn that spot on the court, he's going to be deadly.
Well, that's the biggest weapon on the court, the Querrey forehand, followed closely by his serve. He's going to look for as many of those 1-2 punches as possible. Berankis needs to find the Querrey backhand off the return. Or do that.
Yeah, and that may be Berankis' strength. I mean, he has wonderful returns of serve, and he can use the pace coming to him. He meets the ball so strongly.
Yeah, he takes the ball early. He takes time away from Querrey by getting that return back quickly on him. But again, just a second serve return. Berankis way too passive. He's left the ball hanging in the middle of the court, and Querrey will eat you up all day with that sort of return.
Yeah, the best players put that kind of pressure on you. You need to do something with the ball. You can't just make it. Yeah, well, we see the big forehand. There's the big serve. Gets the first game on the board for the #2 seed.
And by virtue, Leaf, of having more success returning a second serve, if Berankis can make some inroads, find that Querrey backhand, well, Querrey's going to be thinking more on his first serve. He may be forced to take something off it. If he's getting free combinations off the second serve, that's just going to free him up, loosen him up to go after his first serve all day.
So first look at the Berankis serve. Currently 141 in the ranks. It'll make a nice move up if he can actually pull off this title. Obviously, just having reached the final is going to put him in good stead. Either way, he's he's going to crack the top 100, and that's sort of the Mason-Dixon line. You get inside the top 100, you start seeing more direct entries for Grand Slam events and obviously all the events.
Yeah, and that's important for Berankis. He's young, but he's played a lot of tennis. He's played 17 matches in his last 3 events. And for a guy that has had injury problems, that's not going to help, that sort of time on court. That's the challenge for Querrey also, to get Berankis moving. When he's in a stationary position, he can unload off both wings. Yeah, we saw Querrey take Berankis out of court and he went for a low percentage shot, found the middle of the net.
So a little too much left hand with that two-hander, pulled it into the alley. Berankis feeling a little bit of nerves here in this opening game. Some loose errors that are costing him. There's a look at David Nankin, who's a coach for Sam Querrey.
Yeah, no question Berankis is feeling it. He's rushing a little bit. I've never really understood that jumping two-handed backhand. It seems like that's a pretty easy way to mistime the ball. Excellent depth from Querrey there, forcing Berankis behind the baseline. He's off to a good start.
Querrey leads 2 games to 1.
Follow the Emirates Airline U.S. Open Series all summer long. For the latest scores, standings, and TV schedule, go to EmiratesUSOpenSeries.com. The Farmers Classic, the second of 6 stops for the men in this open season.
And you can see Querrey just checking the sun. I mentioned before he's been playing a lot at night.
15 ball.
Yeah, that's inexcusable. If Berankis is going to have success in this match, he's going to have to be efficient returning the Querrey second serve. And he's done the opposite so far. He's going to concede a lot of free points off the Querrey first serve. It's a very lively court, so the ball's exploding, particularly off a second serve. It's getting high. Berankis needs to either take the ball early or move back so the ball can drop.
Yeah, and that's a heavy first serve.
30-15.
And his first ace of the day. He had 11 of them against Rajiv Ram in the semifinal.
Nets for service.
That's a better strike, though. He missed that return, but there was certainly some purpose to it. He took the ball early. If you're going to miss, at least miss when you're trying to do something aggressive.
Yeah, Querrey.
And a couple of big aces down the tee. Sam Querrey. Strong start and a 3-love lead. Welcome back to the Farmers Classic. Ričardas Berankis serving at love 3. Leif Shiras and Ashley Fisher with you here at Strauss Stadium on the campus of UCLA. It's So far, Sam Querrey has been rock solid, and Berankis has been struggling to get it into gear and get on the board.
And that says it all. That's Berankis' coach. It's been a disastrous start for the young Lithuanian. Hasn't served well, hasn't returned well.
Another backhand goes awry.
Yeah, and that's a tough shot, Leaf. When you're struggling, things aren't going well, you got to get back to basics. Pick big targets, play high percentage shots. Berankis just needs to get his teeth into this one. Cross court, pick some safe shots. Once you start feeling it, get a little more confidence, then you can start trying to pull the trigger on those backhand down the lines.
It's impressive hitting, and that's on Berankis, a little bit of variety off the backhand side.
Well, that's the best point he's played in this match. That was a nice slice, opening the court up, and then just unloads on the forehand down the line. Hopefully that's the sort of point that will get the young man going.
Boy,
15-40.
never a good time for a double fault, but that is a bad time for it.
Well, he's not doing the basics well, serving 33%, double faulting, missing second serve returns. All the simple keys to the match.
Querrey hasn't offered up too many unforced errors. That was the first sort of very unforced error that he missed. Oh, that's brilliant tennis. We talk about the movement from Berankis, but Sam Querrey is covering the court beautifully, and he filled up this space well, and then once there, did this.
You know, that's his staple shot, the forehand. Just brushed up on the backside of the ball, manipulating it to get it up and down over the net. And they're concerning numbers for Ričardas Berankis.
Yeah, if he's not getting his first serve in, look at that. Just 14% of those points won.
And the flip side of that, Querrey winning 80% on second serve points on his serve. There's another one. You just cannot afford those sort of errors. Querrey's, you know what Querrey's going to do. He's going to win a lot of free points off his first serve. He's going to use his forehand to dictate. When you get second serve opportunities, you need to find the Querrey backhand and establish the upper hand in the rally.
Net for service.
And that's the number 2 seed in the draw. Querrey got a bye in the first round, so he's played 3 matches to get here today. For Berankis, 3 rounds of qualifying, so he's played 7 matches to get to the championship match. So a little more tennis under his belt. A little bit of luck goes Berankis' way there. The net cord turned into an overhead.
Yeah, he needs it.
15-30.
Querrey has it set up all there and just clips the top of the tape, and then it was easy pickings. Berankis could hold that forehand, wait to see which way Querrey committed. Sometimes it can help, Leaf, when you're going through qualifying, you're winning a lot of matches, you're feeling confident, but only up to a certain point. And Berankis is about to reach that. He's played 17 matches in the last 3 events.
30 all.
I mean, that's a lot of tennis. And I know he's fit. We saw how strong he was practicing earlier today, but oftentimes there's mental fatigue as well. I mean, match play is exhausting mentally.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see if he can. He may not recover enough to get this first set under his belt, but obviously enough to pick up his play and make an impression in the second. Because this is what you're up against. I mean, one break of serve is usually fatal. Two is pretty much guaranteed. And here's a point to get to 5-love for the American.
Querrey.
Well, pretty good defense from Querrey because it was a good return. So the number 2 seed has a 5-love lead, looking very strong out of the blocks here in LA. Yeah, the championship match today, and Sam Querrey has put himself in a nice position at 5 games to love. Nicely done. I'm trying to get Sam off the baseline where Querrey is so effective. Something different from Berankis.
15 love.
Yeah, Querrey's a big guy. He's not entirely comfortable at the net. If you can bring him in with one of those short chip slices on your terms, then you can have some success, as we just saw.
Querrey did well just to get that last one back into play. Goes with the squash play on the forehand. Berankis just too many mistakes in this opening set.
And not many winners. He's been playing like a big-time player this week, serving huge, a lot of 1-2 punches, and we're not seeing that. He's just a little off on a lot of his strokes. Pressure is affecting you. It often is revealed in shot selection. That's not a ball Berankis wanted to get aggressive with. He just needed to get over there and reset, throw up a high ball to the Querrey backhand and recover into the open court. You can just feel that he's rushing. He's down 2 break points and Querrey is the one that's taking his time. It should be the other way around, Leaf.
Yeah, try and set your own tempo. Set points down.
Game that first set.
So that's the first set. Sam Querrey takes 6 games right out of the blocks. So the Americans looking very strong indeed today. The championship on the line. Welcome back, everyone, to Tennis Channel. Leif Shiras and Ashley Fisher with you for Championship Sunday from the Farmers Classic. Sam Querrey and Ričardas Berankis. And you can see from the scoreline, it's been all Sam Querrey, 6 straight games, and Ričardas Berankis is on his heels, trying to recover, trying to make an impression here today. But that is what he's been up against. Big serves, big forehands, and consistent hitting from Querrey. Berankis has struggled to make an impression.
Yeah, it's a combination of Querrey playing well, but Berankis really playing poorly. He has not played anything like what we've seen all week. And I'm sure a big part of that is the occasion. He's nervous right now, but often after you've lost a set 6-love that convincingly, sometimes your opponent can just have a little bit of a mental lapse, particularly at the start of the set.
Yeah, Sam's serve not only has pace, but because he's 6 feet 6 inches tall, it comes from such a high angle down. You have to adjust to the carom off this court.
And it doesn't help that Berankis is 5'8". That trajectory is tough. He handled that one nicely, Luke. It was very high. It's the advantage of having a 2-handed backhand. Able to control that ball a lot easier.
Net for service.
If you're Berankis, you just have to put that first set behind you. Just say, you know what? A week ago I was in qualifying. I'm happy where I'm in the final.
Game Querrey.
And another ace And another game, not surprisingly for Querrey, the way he's producing. And look at some numbers from that opening set, and it all leans towards the American success.
Yeah, just not doing the basics well. Berankis serving at 38%. You won't win too many sets in the ATP World Tour with numbers like that, and just no success at all. And then conversely, Querrey having a lot of success, 71% on his second serves. That's the real alarming number for Berankis. He needs to make some inroads there. And then way too many loose errors for Berankis, 11 unforced errors. Querrey played an excellent set, 5 winners, 3 unforced.
15.
And for Berankis, we've talked about one of his strengths is his service return.
15
You
love.
have to find a way to protect your serve to put some pressure on your opponent. You can apply pressure not with just good returns, but scoreboard pressure. Protecting your serve well.
15 all.
And Berankis has got some firepower, but that's where he doesn't on the second serve. That was 79%. He was just hanging there. He's not moving well. Often if you're nervous, lacking confidence, it's reflected in your foot speed. He's rushing.
That's loose.
15-30.
Looking there at just some of the champions here, Sampras won it a couple times. Querrey is trying to become the third player in the open era to win at least 3 Farmer Classic titles. This is just in the open era. It's only Agassi and Jimmy Connors as we look at that. Rimas Balzekas, the coach for Berankis.
Quite an interesting story behind that as well, Leaf. He actually flew to DC, anticipating that that's where Ričardas would be playing today.
Yeah, that's trouble.
And that's that movement that I spoke about. Berankis barely got to that ball. It was just a mid-court forehand from Querrey. And Berankis ended up having to reach for it, and that set Querrey up for the big forehand.
Boy, some errors that we haven't really seen at all this week from Berankis, and that's 8 straight games for Sam Querrey.
Yeah, this is where things start to get ugly. It starts playing on your mind. Am I going to be one of the only guys to ever lose a final 6-love, 6-love? It's a horrible feeling. I know it all too well.
I remember playing Stefan Edberg and I was down 8-love. Not a good feeling. Did finally get on the board. I figured if I'd played maybe 3 or 4 more sets, I would have had him. Well, is this the start of something?
Love 15.
Berankis just find something to hang on to, even if it's with his fingertips here. Get a break back. Find a break point. Just give himself a chance.
That aggressive nature that Berankis has that serves him well, that would be raving about if he was winning the match, can also be his worst enemy. And that's a 211-kilometer serve. And Berankis is trying to get aggressive with it rather than just blocking it back and starting the point neutrally.
Yeah, that seems like something the best players do a lot. You know, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, whether, you know, it's either getting the ball back or picking their spots to be aggressive on the return.
That's where you can get aggressive on a second serve return. It's Querrey on the run. The squash shot from Sam Querrey, and then Querrey so weary of the open court, he was running to cover the backhand. Berankis just hitting behind him.
another play behind Querrey, and here's Berankis suddenly creating a bit of an opportunity.
Yeah, this is the best point that Berankis has played in this match. Again, all started with a good second serve return. It's really jerking the ball around, wrong footing the big man Querrey. And two of those winners have come in the last 2 points. So good signs for the young Lithuanian.
Net for service.
Players have been complaining about that net device all week, saying it's overly sensitive. Really wasn't happy with that call.
Net for service. I heard both as well. So.
Querrey was getting frustrated last night in his semi-final against Raj Ram. Sometimes he can be a little mentally fragile, but you have to make it close. Give Sam Querrey that opportunity. He'll know that he's a big favourite to win this match. He loves playing here, and he talks about him being relaxed and being easier to play in front of his friends, but I'm not completely buying it, especially at this stage of a match. If he's up 6-love, 2-love, he'll already be thinking about his victory speech. Second serve return, and again, just leaving the ball in the middle of the court with not much on it. Querrey's going to, his eyes light up when he sees that.
And Querrey's heavy hitting has put so much pressure on the man from Lithuania.
Unfortunate for Berankis. It was an excellent second serve return. The net court just allowed Querrey just to be stationary, and that's where he's the most dangerous with his forehand, when he just has time to unwind. Berankis had success in this game early on by moving Querrey from side to side.
Game, Querrey.
Yep, and he calls up on the serve there to close out the 9th game. So it's a perfect slate for Querrey. 6-love, 3-love. Be a part of the drama at EmiratesUSOpenSeries.com. Play the Follow the Story game, and you can win a trip to the 2013 US Open and other great prizes, including a trip to Dubai, possibly, and certainly the one to the Big Apple for the US Open. Check it out, EmiratesUSOpenSeries.com. Good crowd on hand for this championship match. Berankis has had chances, but has been unable to get on the board.
It was a shame. The last return game on Querrey serve was the best game Berankis has played in this match. And he just wasn't able to convert. That won't do his confidence any good. And you can see there, just talked about his racket head speed, Leaf, and it hasn't been there today. He's just pushing the ball. He's tentative. That was a slow motion follow through. Nice chase from here.
30-15.
I don't think we've had one today, have we? It's been pretty comprehensive, the domination so far. I haven't need anything from our chase friends. There we go. That's a nice combination.
He's been so good all week at getting up to that short ball. He's got a good first serve, moves into the court. Just haven't seen enough of that 1-2 finish today, and a big part of that is his first serve percentage.
Yeah, and Querrey is just crushing that forehand. And even if you're on that ball, it has so much behind it. It's not like you can suddenly change directions easily. You're pretty much having to just to try to get it back into play.
a sense of humour, Berankis. He's been playing a lot of matches. He's been playing at this high level, but he hasn't played somebody that has the firepower of Sam Querrey today, and he has been a little shell-shocked at just how hard the ball has been coming at him, particularly off the Querrey forehand.
And he's a wonderful young man who is no doubt enjoying this moment in the sun.
He's enjoying it a lot more now.
Now that he's got a game on the board, yeah. And obviously this crowd, wants a good match, so they're going to support him if he can make something happen. Querrey has other ideas.
And it's an interesting dynamic. They're behind Querrey. He's their local boy. They enjoy seeing him win, but they don't want to be shortchanged in the process. They want to see a competitive match. Until that ill-advised drop set, it was a much better point from Berankis. He took the second serve early. He was dictating with his forehand. That's a ball you don't want to get cute with. Just crush it into the open court. Querrey just had too much time.
That's one of his best returns of the day.
Reads that serve, and the line's open. It's not easy to do off a serve coming at you at 120 miles an hour.
40-15.
Because Berankis has a lot of racket head speed, he can catch up to some of those serves as long as they don't beat him to the spot like that previous serve did.
Another winner and another game. Querrey's march to the title is just 2 more steps away. 6-love, 4-1. Sam Querrey in command here at the Farmers Classic in Los Angeles. Well, we've lost some very special people this last year. Kim Stitham, who was the heart and soul of this event for almost 20 years, alongside Bob Kramer, the tournament director. Barry McKay was a champion here in 1960. Judge Bob Kelleher and Randy Wright, one of the original supporters of this great tennis center and a huge tennis fan. All supporters of this fine event here, the Farmers Classic. So Berankis trying to hang in. 15-all. Some exchange, and you can see how deep in the rally Berankis is having to go just to win points. I mean, Querrey is strong today.
Yeah, he's not getting anything cheaply. Berankis has hit that slice down the line a couple of times in this match. It's a very difficult shot to hit. You're going over the high part of the net, and you want it short enough where it just doesn't come into Querrey's wheelhouse. But he's hit it successfully. It's a shot that Federer hit really well against Andy Murray in this year's Wimbledon final.
There, Querrey back again behind Berankis.
Yeah, that just shows how confident Sam Querrey is now. We know about the first serve, the big forehand, but when he really starts feeling it, then he gets aggressive with the backhand.
Rebounded pretty nicely. I mean, there was some disappointment there at Wimbledon, losing that match to Cilic in the 3rd round. As you mentioned, coming off that win over Raonic, 17-15 in the 5th. The the second longest match in tournament history.
Deuce.
It's just been that sort of day. Just no racket head acceleration on that second serve, which is what is actually what's required to bring the ball up and down. If you just guide it the way Berankis did, the ball will float long.
Advantage Berankis.
His coach Amos has to be happy with that. A second game on the board, and okay, he's got to find a way back from this 4-2 deficit now.
He's got to keep telling himself, I had a couple of break points in this set already. Got to look to be aggressive on second serves, get it to the Querrey backhand, and then dictate, get the big man on the run.
15 love.
Qualifiers reaching the finals, you know, it happens fairly consistently. This is the 5th time, but the problem is only one qualifier has won a title. That was Nieminen back in Sydney. It's a long road to get through the 8 matches required. Brian Baker had a great run in Nice, lost to Almagro in the championship match.
Completely different paths. Querrey had a bye, and then
30-15.
What should have been a really difficult match against Xavier Melis. Melis was forced to retire early in the second set, so he's really only played 5 sets to get to the final.
Berankis is playing in DC next week. He actually plays Nicolas Mahou, the Frenchman, in the opening round. That was a quarterfinal match here in LA this week.
Yeah, he has a wild card in DC. Ranking not high enough to get him in, and he's missed the qualifying. That's a low percentage shot, but if executed, it's very effective, because watch Querrey move to his left. We don't see it there, but he's looking for a forehand. David Nankin hasn't had much to be concerned about in this match.
Yeah, just the second time that Berankis has been to deuce on the Querrey serve, although he has had a couple breakpoint chances. Oh, what a turn.
Well, even Sam Querrey appreciated that. It's a huge serve up the tee, and just a desperate diving stab. There's the reaction. He had no idea where that was going, but he likes it.
You know, that's an endearing kind of reaction. I mean, they love to see the player show positive emotion, particularly a smile.
That's the sign of a man that's won this title twice and has a 12-match win streak. First sign of adversity and just comes up with the goods. It's not how many aces you serve, it's typically when you serve them. That's more important.
Advantage Querrey.
Aggressive return.
Yeah, and again, it's a low percentage shot, but it's high risk, high reward tennis. Querrey looking for a forehand. He's going to be sort of leaning towards his left, And even guys that have big forehands, they're much more comfortable moving to their left than to their right, with the exception of Pete Sampras.
Advantage Querrey.
I don't think Andre Agassi didn't move too badly to his right. There were a few good forehands out there, but you're right. I think the modern game, more players definitely like to back into their backhand space. 8 aces.
Berankis is definitely getting better as this match is progressing. Starting to time the ball more effectively. Starting to get a little bit of a beat on the Querrey serve. If Querrey beats him to a spot with the 128, well, it's going to be tough. But if Berankis is getting his racket on the ball, he's starting to make a lot of returns. And he's having a lot more success, as we've seen this game, attacking second serves.
A tense exchange. You felt like so much was on the line in that rally.
And it was a conservative point from Berankis. He had opportunities to pull the trigger and just picked the wrong time. That was when he was on his run, on the run to the left, over the high part of the net. And that will come the more he matures. Fine-tuning his shot selection, knowing when to be aggressive.
Yeah,
Querrey avoids some trouble on his serve there. Dominant position, yes, but it was just teetering a bit there at 4-2. He does get to 5-2 in the second, just a game away. With equipment and court size just right, tennis is a whole new ball game for kids. Find out more at 10andundertennis.com. Sam Querrey playing in his 12th ATP World Tour final. He's had 6 wins, 5 losses, a chance to pick up his 7th career title if he can get another game on the board.
That's a difference here as far as maturity goes. Querrey on the dead run just plays a very defensive lob. That's the conditions, the sun, the wind play a role and wins the point. One thing to have that aggressive nature, but you've got to know when to use it.
Love 30.
More trouble for Berankis. Incredible defense, and that's just how things are going for Querrey today.
Yeah, Querrey just kind of guesses right and then just improvises. It was a lucky shot, but Berankis pays the price for not hitting that overhead into the open court.
One match point saved.
Do you want to get that?
Now it's long. Sam Querrey takes home the Farmers Classic. That's number 3 for the American. Impressive fashion today, and he just did not allow Berankis room to breathe.
It was a big match for Ričardas Berankis, and Querrey did what you'd expect from an experienced campaigner. He jumped on the young Lithuanian early and was relentless thereafter. Excellent start in the Emirates Airline US Open Series for that man.
It really is, and he was clearly the favorite in this match, but no doubts about his play. He just came out here, played confidently. He had a game plan, he executed it, and he served brilliantly as well. A look now at our Farmers Insurance match summary. As you can see, Querrey dominant with the 8 aces and defending well his second serve against the guy who returns pretty well.
Yeah, he did, and that was the key to the match. Berankis started to make some inroads on the Querrey second serve, but it was all too little, too late. Berankis not serving well, 45%. That's not going to get it done. Way too many unforced errors, 19. Querrey +7 when it's the unforced error column, and that's typically a telling stat.
Yeah, the key game might have been the 9th game, where Berankis had some break points to get back on serve in the second and maybe just build a little momentum. He'd also had a break point at 2-4 in the third. And he just couldn't quite get it going as Querrey didn't miss a first serve, and the American was just so strong when it counted. So another title for Querrey. Berankis, he's going to be happy with the final round performance here out of the qualifying. But we're going to come back and wrap things up from the Farmers Classic. So keep it right here. Welcome back to Los Angeles. Time now for our Emirates moment of the match. And it happened after 9 games played in this championship. Berankis trying to get on the board.
Yeah, well, look, it's a big moment at the time for Ričardas Berankis. He was staring at a possible 6-love loss. I don't think he'll look back on that in years to come as a memorable moment, but he had his sense of humor, and that really...
Yeah, it really endeared him to the crowd, that's for certain, as he raises his first finalist trophy here at the Farmers Classic. And of course, for Sam Querrey, semifinalist at Queens earlier, well, he's a king in LA, his 3rd championship trophy. He's getting used to that one. Chance now for our Wilson Moore win highlights. There are a lot of good ones, most of them for Sam Querrey. That might have been the shot of the day, that running pass.
Yeah, he hit his forehand well, he served well. This was the point that we just saw, the Emirates moment of the match. Berankis saving him from a possibly embarrassing love loss. That was one of the real highlights for Berankis, a stick save.
Now, this was an amazing play by Sam Querrey, and luck was on his side, I guess, Ash.
Yeah, he defended well, but that ball rotated around his frame and unfortunately landed. And it was that sort of day for Berankis. Missed his match point, just overcooking in the back end. And Querrey, well, what can you say? 3rd title, off to a fantastic start for the big American.
So an American wins in LA, like in Atlanta last week. Here's what's coming up on Tennis Channel. The 2012 City Open happens in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Our coverage begins Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Our friends at ESPN2, they're going to start their thing Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's an ATP World Tour 500 event. Very strong field, should be very competitive, and no doubt plenty of drama. So Sam Querrey takes home his 7th career title. 3 of them are from here in LA. For our amazing Tennis Channel crew, who works so hard to bring you the sights and sound of this fine event, for Ashley Fisher, I'm Leif Shiras, saying so long from the Farmers Classic here at UCLA.